Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here, and today's What's Cracking, we have the whirlwind of Lauren Jane Barnett. That's right, if you ever read anything about London horror, you know Lauren Jane's work. We've got the book, we've got the movie with Adrian King coming out, darner, and London Horror Movie Club. Get your tea and crumpets, because this is gonna be fun. Hit it. Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here, and today we've got none other than the runner, no, wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry. The horror enthusiast extraordinaire, Lauren Jane Barnett. That's right. Sorry, I thought we were doing a running show today, but it's
I
okay.
love that.
Pleased to meet you. I'm so glad you can come from London, yeah?
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you for doing it at a reasonable hour. This could have been at midnight my time.
Oh, I can change this. Oh, like next time we'll be less accommodating to people. No, it's wonderful. I've looked through your writing and your artistic history, and I'm like, oh, this is my jam. Like Deaf Lines walking London through horror cinema. I love absolutely. This is me. This is 100%. So I'm just going to talk about your process, going from writing to something like a movie that may or may not get, talking to today about.
Yes, please.
So why horror? Of all the things, why horror for you?
I've always loved horror. I mean, from when I was little, my dad would watch Hitchcock with me. When I was a kid, like Turner Classic Movies. Yeah.
Oh, very
I
cool.
mean, The Birds was probably, I think, my first one, so it was dove straight in.
Boys.
But yeah, I always loved it, and I was doing I was like studying, and I was finding myself really bored, and I was doing all these walks around London because you can tell I'm American, and I wanted to like get to know the city more. And nobody did any walks about horror films here. But there's so many great horror films here. I couldn't believe it. It was nuts. This was back in like 2014. I think there's a few now, not just me. I know the Vincent Price walks are a thing as well. But yeah, so I couldn't believe it. So a friend of mine said, "Well, just do them." And so I did. And then I met a publisher who said, there's a book in that. And he was right. I'm all like prepared to have a prop.
Yay!
Sorry for the auditory people, but I turned
it
into walks.
That's a book. It's a weapon too.
It is. It's great, especially in a city like London.
Here's another horror film right now doing. And this is amazing. I love the concept of it because I am a movie fan, and a lot of people who can't get to London, I'm looking at reviews like, I'm not even in London. I love reading this stuff. And it makes them want to go. Like one day I'll go and then just follow along the book.
Yeah, I'm really lucky actually. Somebody sent me an email saying like, thanks to Google Maps, they were able to do one of my London walks. So they just like put the locations in the Google Maps.
It's so cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh my God, you're the new James Joyce for Dublin. Like we're doing Bloomsday walk. Let's do the London walk. Oh my God, that's a tour package. Okay, well, so you did this. I have to ask because it is not a small book. How long did it take you to write that?
So when people ask me this, I'm always really intimidated to answer because technically, if you start from like the moment a publisher said, "Hey, write this," and I finished the manuscript, it was only a year. But I'd been giving the walks for 3 years. So it's like 3 years of researching the walks and doing them and changing them, and then only a year of writing it down.
Oh my God. So did you ever think about doing something like this and then selling it as a tour thing? As in, you had the headphones on. This is my tour right now. Just like walk around London. Here's your headset. Walk around.
Yeah, you can actually, my Chelsea walk, London Month of the Dead has it recorded, and you can pop your headphones in. They've got a cute little map that they do with it and everything. It's a lot of fun.
Well, good for you. And that has to be an amazing thing. Giving tours is one thing, but learning about the area because you are interested in the area sells it even better because you have a vested interest, right?
I loved it. And I mean, the coolest thing as well was you get, especially with a city like London, it's changing all the time. You'll walk through like these really, really modern, all high glass apartments, and you'll turn this little corner, and then there's this really weird looking Victorian street that's like 10 feet long. And you go, oh my God, that's where they shot the werewolf at the end of American Werewolf in London. Holy cow. And it's because in the middle of nowhere, there's this Victorian road. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's better. I tried making one for Canvey Island. It did not work as well. Like the
I
only thing
love to
shot
hear
there was my
why
friend.
though. Why did you decide to do that?
You know, it was I was there. I guess I was doing. No, it's really good, and I want to get into your background because you liked. Well, obviously, you're a good writer. You're a
Thank
fantastic
you.
storyteller, right? How does that translate from books into maybe the film?
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, the a lot of my short stories, people said are very cinematic. One of them's getting adapted into a horror anthology next year, actually.
Really?
So it's weirdly it kind of worked for me. I guess I'm very visual in my writing, which sounds strange. But
No, but it's an asset. I mean, it does. Yeah, some people are like I don't describe anything. It's imagination. No, no. When you make it pop out of the page, it makes a cinematic experience for the mind, and I love what you do.
oh wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
I'm
welcome.
really honored. It's been a great year actually for me in that respect. I've been able to write for a couple horror films. So just finished I shot in it as well. I was an actor in it as well. But we did a short for Video Shop Tales of Terror too,
Really
called Invasion at Studio 69. So
nice.
it's gonna be it's very 50s B movie plus porn spoof. It's hilarious. And
How am I
then
not in that?
I know, right?
It's basically my nightmare.
And then I got one of my I wrote it originally as a story, and I gave it to my partner as a director, and we were just friends at that point. And
Right.
I gave him the short story, and he said, "You should write this as a film." I was like, "Okay," so I did. I wrote it out as a screenplay, my very first one, and Misty Moon Productions picks it up. I'm filming it actually next month, which is crazy. It's called Darner, and it's with I couldn't believe it when he told me she said yes. He gave the script to Adrienne King, who's
Oh
the
my god.
the last girl in Friday the 13th Part
Yeah.
One, and she loved it, and so she's the lead in it, and I
Oh, that's
couldn't
amazing.
believe it.
That's an amazing. I love when I saw like Adrian King. I'm like Adrian King, Adrian King.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. Like yeah, it is. Like look at. I'm like oh my god, you
I
do have
can't believe it.
Adrian
We
King.
have it's so funny actually. We're doing this today. We've got like an initial meeting and
Yeah.
tomorrow, and I'm like so nervous to actually meet her. I know she likes it, which is great, but I'm still like I can't believe I'm
Like,
gonna be just talking to Adrienne King.
yeah. You're like trying not to talk about. You're going to talk about the movie at some point, right?
Right? I mean, I have to figure
Yeah.
out exactly the right moment to do that because I want to look professional. It's a professional meeting
Right.
and stuff. But I might just be like, oh yeah, I'm sure it was a lot like when you read the script for Friday the 13th.
Look, man. I have a friend Jason, and his mom doesn't like him. Oh, what was that? That one? Jason's mom. Huh?
um,
That's exciting. That really is, and it comes from someone reading your short story, believing in you and this and in the story, and going, "This is amazing for a film." And you still have to have the talent to pull that off, though. It's luck plus talent, right? I mean, it's not just like I went through the universe doing nothing. No, you worked at it.
yeah, really hard. So I mean I've been writing for ages before I was able to do it professionally. I think I started in like 2007, and I'd always write short stories or something. And you
Right?
get a lot of rejections, but like some are nice enough to tell you what to fix and what to work on. Some of them just
Yeah,
never respond to you ever again.
that's a rejection, right?
To all the editors out there, give you some feedback. Thank you. It makes us better writers.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the like I want to be a writer. Like, were you popular in school? Yes. You know,
You
you're
should.
gonna get a lot. Welcome to rejections. Welcome to ghosting. I think the editors invented ghosting for that.
Exactly.
It's like it's not even a form letter. It's like yeah.
It's really funny because everyone's always like, "Oh, it must be so full of rejection," and I was like, "I wish they were personal enough to reject you. That would have felt nicer to me."
Yeah, I wish it was like, oh, we hate your story. So we could fix on it. Nothing. Like, oh, okay, thanks. What was the best rejection you got? Curious.
Oh, I think actually weirdly, it was probably for my very first story that got published, which was Toujours, which was a while ago, 2010. I'd written it as a draft much earlier, and I'd submitted it
Yeah.
around a few places, no replies, no replies. And somebody wrote back to me and said, "The idea is so creepy, but you don't show us that it's creepy." And I was like, "That's a weird."
Huh.
Huh. And so I wrote back and I was like, you absolutely have no obligation to tell me about it, but
Right.
could you explain that a little bit more? She wrote back to me. She's like, well, you don't make the atmosphere creepy. So what's happening? The plot, I know intellectually is really upsetting,
Right.
but I don't feel it. And that totally changed the way I went about writing, because I was so plot driven. I was so like, oh, action movie, you need to have like interesting stuff happening all the time. And it really changed writing for me. I was like, oh yeah, it's about these people have to sit with it. So they have to feel everything from the first moment of what you want. And it's made me such a great writer. Well, like not great writer, it's made me a lot better though.
You know what? I've read it. Not that particular one, but I've read your stuff. I think great writer's good.
Thank
It's
you.
a
That's
good
very
moniker for you.
kind.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
I mean,
you.
come on. You're going to work with Adrian King.
I can't.
If you ever wonder, like, am I a good writer? Just remember Adrian King. Yeah. Exactly. For me, it was O'Hara. Like, that's exactly it. It was like, you just need that one person really that you looked up as a kid going, oh my God, they like me. They truly like me. And that's great feedback. And I think you did a lot of writers don't do. They'll get the rejection email and go, whatever, loser. You don't like my stuff. Fool on you. But you wrote back. And probably, I'm guessing politely, because they wrote back to you afterwards.
Yes.
Right?
I did not want to piss them off. It was great.
Right.
They'd written me back.
It's like, it's going to be like, oh, here we go. And that goes a long way. We have anthologies. We used to work with authors, but anthologies, when we have to reject something, I always feel like really bad. I'm like, oh, I hate rejecting, because I hate being the person saying, sorry, you're not ready yet. But the yet part is it. You're not ready yet. Work on your craft more. Come back later on. Fix this and then be fine. So you took that rejection and it made you a stronger writer that landed more and more like deals and major things coming, like Darner's coming out. What is the feeling when you're looking back on your career? Is it just like a whirlwind, or is it kind of like, oh, I knew this was going to happen?
No, total whirl. I mean, especially the films have been a total surprise. I think when Deathlines came out, I was like, okay, I'm a proper writer now. I can like focus on this. And I was at this Dark Fest, which is this amazing horror festival here in London, and Pauline Piette, who's in, she's a Hammer sort of actress here, and she was in Dracula AD 1972, which is one of the films in my book. And so I was like, can you sign my book? You're in it. And she said to me, oh my gosh, you have to meet Tony Martin, who's actually now my partner, but he's a film director, and he's the first one to try and help me get my writing into sort of screenplay shape. And so that was only 2 years ago in November. So the last 2 years, I've written 5 different things. 3 are about to be filmed. 2 already have been. And that's been total surprise, total chaos, and so much fun as well. Because it started basically with me being like, oh, I'd like to like be an extra in your movie. And I did like a little scene. Yeah. And then I ended up being in loads of other films, and other people were like, oh, you're a writer. I'm a director. What do you write? And then that's Alex, who I did Video Shop with. I'm working with somebody named Tom Lee Rudder. He did Pocket Film Superstitions. I'm doing a film with him called Trial the Undines. And it's just like all within the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's just putting yourself out there, I think.
Yeah.
Like, they won't come to you. You have to come to them and just be personable.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is it's really, I don't know if you found this as well, but I think people who love horror are always willing to sort of talk to you about horror, always excited to meet someone else who loves it. And it's that really like amazing environment that you can, get to know people really well, and you can have a great time. But then you can also be like, oh, hey, you love horror, read this, tell me what you think. And they'll give you really great, honest feedback because you really know their stuff.
That it actually has been my experience. And this horror is a really weird genre for me because it is like a family. Yeah. As soon as you start talking, I'm like, oh my God, you can overhear someone talking about it and they'll welcome you into their conversation about it because they love it so much. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you before like 5 minutes ago, but let's go. It's welcoming and everyone wants to help you. Yeah. Everyone really, the one wants to step behind you. They all want to help because it's more horror, the better.
Yeah,
more art, the better in the world. Absolutely. And then not only are you doing the movies and the books as if that wasn't enough, but I loved your tagline is the sound of vision. The London Horror Movie Club.
Yes.
What is the London Horror Movie Club?
Oh yeah. So my big brother who introduced me to horror movies, Chris, is in North Carolina, and he and I do the podcast, which is London Horror Movie Club. It started out with us reviewing horror movies that were set in London because I obviously know a lot about them. And then the more I got to meet people in the indie British horror industry, the more we're like, hey, come talk about what you do. Because everybody likes to listen to like the big guys, but they have so much support and so much more going on. They don't have to be, you don't have the director who's like holding a lamp to try and make it be a lighting rig while having built the costume you're wearing. And their stories are insane and incredible. And they go to crazy lengths while holding down full-time jobs to make these movies they love.
That's exactly great. Yeah. It's the indie part, and I love podcasting because, like, thank you, Kevin Smith. But it's the last place that you can have total freedom. Do you want your format's your format? People will come.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know if this is true for you, but like growing up, horror fans. I assume you're one of them, and niche fans. It took ages to find somebody else, if you found them at all, who got you and who liked the stuff you liked. And now my brother and I can talk nonsense with another horror director and be like, oh yeah, it's amazing. And then someone on, in China even will find us and go, oh my God, I loved that movie.
That's the amazing part about the internet. When used for good, it can really, it can really make branches out to people. When you're looking at statistics, like, people from what country are watching me right now? That's insane. That's insane. But yes, growing up in a small town, if you lucky have like friends at all, but to have the horror friend, they can really just go through the cheesiest from the B's all the way up to the Blumhouses, we'll say. It's like, yeah, this is it. This is our jam. And finding it on the internet, you have the family. You have, if you ever watched The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, you have the Mutant fam, and they're very supportive. You have this family and this family and this one. And all ones are nice. We had like Isaac Thorne on before, and Isaac's got like a bazillion followers.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, I just push everyone because I believe in horror. I'm like, that's so nice.
Love that.
I love it.
God, he's a great writer as well. He's really engaging. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And with my ego, he submitted something a long time ago to an anthology we did. I'm like, oh my God, your writing's great. You'll go far, kid.
Or you like, when?
Yeah, what? He's already established. I was like, I discovered you when you're already discovered.
Oops.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like the little things. It's just little things that add up. Now, has anyone come to you as saying, I need a mentor? I need a horror mentor?
No, they haven't. And I think that's probably a good thing because I'm still getting my feet grounded.
If this is getting your feet grounded, I hate to see when you're full steam.
Thank you.
Like, honestly, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that if you go to conventions, are you going to conventions for your own stuff?
Yeah, a whole horror convention very kindly invited. My very first one is at the end of this month, and I'm going. And I've even got actually, it's really funny. You appreciate this. They asked me to do pictures for people to sign for the movies, and I was like, who is gonna want a Lauren Sapkowski photo?
Tons. You will. Okay, tons of people. You have no idea. You have no idea. As long as you're there, and then your stuff looks cool, they don't care. They will be your best friend. Yeah. And that's the perfect picture for it. I'm like, hell, I want one of those now.
I love that one. The vampire from it's from when I did Wishes the Sands. It was 30-second scene, and I have so many photos of it.
Witches in the Sand, and that's the Tony Martin one, yes?
Yeah, so it's a feature. It's coming. It's gonna be out end of next year. But I got to act with Linnea Quigley in that. I mean, he's got so many incredible people. I got to act with Simon Bamford from Hellraiser. He was amazing. I love him to pieces.
Oh my God, that is Simon. I'm like, I was looking at them like,
yeah, and everyone's in this. Brink Stevens is in it. Lindsay Drew Honey is in it. Linnea Quigley, Deborah. I mean, it's ridiculous how many people. Ian McCulloch, I got to meet because he was in it. It's really? All of these childhood heroes. And you're just like, oh my God, you're in Cannibal Holocaust. Who are you?
I can't believe it. That's amazing feeling. And not all because, but dang, location, right?
Yeah. These walks that I did, and then this book, and then it's basically the foundation of my whole career. It's crazy.
Following your passion.
Yeah. I'm
Following your
lucky.
passion, you can't go wrong. Absolutely.
No, it's true. I mean, it's
However,
a great example of like it's doing something you love versus what you thought you should do. I was doing a degree in something else, trying to learn how to teach, and I was bored and wanted a horror walk, and so I made them, and then all of a sudden, that's somehow amazingly, magically become my life, and I'm so lucky.
that doesn't, but you're still teaching in a way because you're showing you. It's a service. It's actually an educational experience. Deaf Lines Walking London Through Horror Cinema is an educational book
Yeah, that's
from
true.
a certain point of view for horror lovers, especially.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
actually one of the things I loved about this was it's not just so when you give the walks you kind of read the room and you see whether people are more
Yeah.
interested in talking about the movie or they know this movie really well and they want you to move on or whatever. But with the book I got to talk a little bit more about like why did directors want this location? Was there something cool to it? Was there something more to it? And that was just I love that. That's my favorite bit.
The going into it is very well done. In fact, I'll do 4. For the first 4 people who DM me, email me, call me, whatever, we will give you a copy of Deaf Lines Walking London Through Horror Cinema by none other than Lauren Jane Barnett.
Oh my God, that's
Shipped to
amazing.
your house gratis. There we go. First 4 people. Now, what's next? Besides, I know we're doing Darner with Adrian King. You're probably just all in Darner. Could you imagine going to a convention next year with Darner out?
I know.
You and Adrian King sitting in a booth?
It's gonna be insane. And then as well, that'll be when so there's we're doing a horror anthology as well with Misty Moon and them. So I've got another thing with them. Over here, Bill Fellows is quite famous. Did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
Yes.
So yeah, everyone does. So
everyone on the planet, pretty much.
In this sort of season, you see him mostly towards the end, but you also see him in the first season where he's the previous coach, the one who's wearing the weight shorts. That's Bill Fellows. I'm doing something with him as well, which is very exciting. That's in the anthology, and so I've been writing for this horror anthology, and I can't. That's filming next year, and I'll be able to go with like Adrian King, and I can't believe it. It's ridiculous.
You're on a rocket ship.
I'm very lucky is what I am.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, man.
Thank you.
And one day we'll be watching you on Joe Bob Briggs' season and be introducing your movie.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. That would be so cool.
My God. Well, so we covered up. We've got your books. We've got London Horror Movie Club. We've got Darner with Adrian King. I can't believe that. I'm jealous. I'm extreme. You have no idea. I don't get jealous. I'm jealous.
It's so crazy cool. I can't even believe it. It's ridiculous as well because it was like the producer Stuart Morris. He said, "Oh, I'll send it to her, but like don't get hopes up. You're young writer or whatever." And he was like, "She'll be very honest." And I was like, "Okay, totally fine." And he's like, I got this little text message, and I was like, "I sent it to Adrian. She absolutely loves it and can't wait to meet you." And I was like,
"Oh my God."
I couldn't believe it. I was
oh my God. So screaming up and down. Going,
exactly. I was just so excited. It was,
oh my God. Good for you. That's an amazing time. And for those who want to see you at the convention, where is that?
So this is Hull Horror Fest. It's in Hull, and it's from 26th of October. I think there's still tickets, and it's really, really great festival as well because they've got like loads of people from all different aspects of horror. So there's lots of writers like me. Nice. There's people from things like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And they've also got quite a lot of like people who do like, I don't know if you know that like the horror cross stitch and like horror baking and like it's just horror palooza all over your face.
I love horror palooza. Horror palooza all over your face. I think that's a tagline for it. that's the shirts for it. Well, the Hull, really.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where people know, especially in England, you obviously know the London ones, and everybody knows the love of horror in Manchester, but they've gotten kind of so crazy big that people miss the smaller, like, oh, you can actually spend time with each person and hang out with them. Yes. And Hull does that. Like, it's only a couple of thousand people, so you can be with that person, you can talk to them, you can actually, like, have a nice time with the person that you're meeting instead of just, like, hi, next.
Thank you, next.
Have
Thank
a nice
you,
day.
next.
Bye.
Yeah. That's it. That's why I do love. We're going out to Winnipeg soon, and it's more of a smaller con, and it allows you to have FaceTime.
Yeah.
allows you the half second besides like the production line, the production line, the production line, the production line. That's amazing. I'm still holding out for Canvey Island Con. Me
Oh,
and Andy Yao from White Light, we're gonna go there. We're gonna have just us. Just him and I.
that would be so
No,
cool.
we could do that later on. So when you're going to the convention, I have to ask, are you also going to bring your book? Because
Yeah,
we get
so
the
that's
photos.
my main thing is I'm bringing my book, definitely, and I'm also going to be bringing the book for Witches of Sands. I play like 6 characters in it, so there'll be like all sorts of
Yay!
yeah.
That's
And
so awesome.
I'm hopefully going to also be able to bring a Darner poster so people can have a little sneak of that.
I just a little sneak is just put down Friday the 13th stuff on your desk. I think you'd be like, really? Like that would be awesome. Now, I asked this a lot of all my guests. If you can give advice to the younger version of you, like the little kid version of you, what would that advice be?
Oh wow, that's an amazing question. I think the big thing would be that it's okay to mess up. I think I was really hard on myself and like working on my work
Really?
as well. And I think it was being really like willing to ask the question of like, what do I need to do for my writing. So that was really important instead of just going I suck and I'm terrible, which I think meant I did it a lot later because I got to basically I think what happened is I got into my 30s and was like, well, fine if people think I'm an idiot. But if I felt that earlier, maybe I'd
Yeah.
where I'm at then.
That's an amazing advice because I think as kids we are very hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just being able to loosen up, and sometimes it takes age and wisdom to see this, to go, oh crap, hold on, I can just be myself.
Yeah.
And good things will happen. Imagine that.
I
Doing something I
know.
want to do, That's very touching. And if people want to be more touching with that, where can we find you on the internet, interwebs, socials?
Okay, so Lauren Jane Barnett is the sort of at for my TikTok and for Instagram. Lauren Jane Barnett is also my website, so I'm very sort of brand accurate. But you can also look up the London Horror Movie Club. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, and you can see my amazing brother who taught me to love horror movies and scared the crap out of me when I was little. He's the best thing in the whole world. And you can also find me on IMDb, which is mental. Lauren Jane
Right.
Barnett.
I
Have a
know.
look.
Isn't that the best?
It's so weird. It's so weird.
I love it. I love it. And I'm subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed to London Horror Movie Club, do it now. Click the
Thank
bell.
you.
I
We'll be
finally get that.
subscribed
Yeah. It's amazing. I thank you so much. I can't believe how quick things are going for you in a great way. And I'm going to follow your career.
now.
I want to hear all about how the signings went in Hull because that's going to be amazing. And then, of course, Darner with Adrian King. Yeah. Keep us in mind. I can travel to London for an opening.
Yeah, I'll totally. I will do that, and I'll make sure you get an early screener copy of The Witches of the Sands.
Oh, thank you. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Honestly, that you just made my day.
my pleasure.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you again. Remember, you're Lauren Jane Barnett. The only thing you're running from is zombies.
Yeah.
I'm
So
still.
Lauren Barnett, the runner, eat that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Thank you
That's
so much.
that's it for us. Thank you much for having us. Bye, everyone.
Bye.